Alright, hello people, I'm Henzo and today we are going to boost your productivity with Emmet. Originally it was an extension that is so popular that it has been integrated into VS Code, for example, and some other code editors. So you don't need to do anything if you use VS Code, you can already use Emmet like that. Alright, so it's a shortcut extension and it's very, very useful. So you can find that source code in description, you can download it from GitHub and you can use it as a documentation or whatever if you want to train or anything. Alright, so the first and most used shortcut will be the dot, then the name of your class, box for example, and then you are going to press tab or enter and it will just create a full div with the closing tag and the class box. It's really, really useful. And then you can also do something like that if you want, div.box, enter or tab, and it will do exactly the same. You can do the same for every element, but by default, if you just write dot box, it will assume that you want to create a div. All right. You can also do a lot of classes, for example, div.box.square and whatever. And it will just work the same. All right, so it's really, really useful. All right, then you can also build some ID, for example, just hashtag my element, and you do have one ID. Okay, it's exactly the same. You can also mix the class and the ID, for example, div hashtag ID dot box, and then you press enter, and it will just write it like that. All right, really, really useful too. And then the multiplication. So you can do something like dot box times 6, and then you press enter, and it will just create 6 div with the class box, which is also really great. All right, nothing else to say right there. You can add some text content. So every time I just put the shortcuts and the definition with the little symbol right there. All right. So you just need right there to do something like H1. Then you open the curly braces and you write, for example, hello world. And then you press enter or tab and it will write some content. You can also get the index. For example, H1, open curly braces, $, and then times 6. And you will have the different index like that. All right, so something like that. Okay, so yeah, you can just do something like that. After that, you can play with the index in your classes too. So for example, p.txt dash $, open the curly braces, $, again, times 6, and you press enter or tab. And tada, it's really, really great too. You don't need to change anything by hand. You do have text 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So the $, symbol will just symbolize the index every time. Okay. Great. We can continue. The nested elements. Also, this is really useful. For example, the parent, div parent, superior sign, and child. And it will just create a parent and a child inside. So if you want to do some complex things with some list or some complex form or thing like that, it's really great too. And yeah, so for example, right there, a container, inside it, UL list with the class of list, and inside it, some li with the class item times 6. And then you press tab or enter, and tada, it just works like that. You see? How useful is that? Really great. Great. After that, you can also do something at the same level. So for example, box 1, and at the same level, box 2. So plus box 2, you hit enter, and it will do something at the same level. So if you combine that with the precedent element, it can do some really large amount of content with a little shortcut, so it can be really nice too. And yeah, the last one of that type will be the, how to say that, the circumflex symbol, and it will go one level up. So it can also be useful if you do have, for example, a container with a child inside, and then you want to go up one level up, so you just write that sign and then container 2, and you press enter, for example. So container, child inside it, and then container 2 at the same level because we just go one level up. All right. And after that, you can also group things up. So yeah, it can be also really great to have, for example, inside my container, I want a list and some li times 6, sorry. And then you want to go up and create one paragraph, for example, and then you just press enter and it will create something with a list inside it and then a paragraph. Okay, so when you group something, you don't have to go level up, because it will be grouped like that and it can be really handy. Okay, great. We are at the end of our shortcut. So you also have access to exclamation mark and then enter, and you just need to press enter and tada, you have a full doctype. Okay, and you can change everything if you want right there. If you want to change your length like that, you can. You do have the meta tags right there. They are really useful, so you can let them like that. It's really useful. You can change the title and everything. So just with one little key like that, just the exclamation mark, and then enter and pop a full doctype. All right. You can also put 3 exclamation mark, and it will just write one doctype, but it's not very useful, I think. Okay, this one is really great. Okay, and then you can just write every element actually with just, for example, div enter or p enter or whatever. For example, a form or everything, a span, thing like that. Okay, instead of just writing it like that, span, and then you close it and well, okay, it's automatic right there with VS Code, but in some old code editor, you need to write everything and every character. But there, you just need to write, for example, span, enter, and up, it's done. All right. And even, some elements comes with attributes, for example, the different inputs like that, text area, okay, form with the actions attribute, for example, image with the source attribute, and a with the href attribute, etc., etc. It can be really useful to just write something like that, and you just need to fill the different attributes or to delete them if you don't want to use them. All right. So this is Emmet, and that was the crash course with Emmet. I hope I helped some people, because it's really useful to have some tools like that with a lot of shortcuts, because you need to think in the long term. If you gain just 2 seconds or 3 seconds with every tag that you are writing, just imagine in 1 year how much times you will just earn like that. All right, so see you next time. You can find the source code in description, and ciao.